St. Camillus de Lellis was a Catholic priest and the first male nurse. However, he was not a likely candidate for sainthood. His mother died when he was just a child, and his father neglected him. He grew up with an excessive love for gambling, and at age 17, he was afflicted with a disease of his leg that remained with him for the rest of his life. He's now known as the patron saint of hospitals and nurses, and he became a director of a hospital and provided care for the dying and the sick.
St. Camillus made many marks in the history of nursing. He is known for developing the first ambulance system during war, whereas men took the medical care to the battlefield. He instituted the Nursing Order of Ministers and is still remembered by the sign of the Red Cross used today.
Hardly any male nurses served in World War I. According to the U.S. Army Medical Department, the male nurse actively sought service in World War I. Under the current law, only women could be in the nurse corps, so men obtaining equal stature as women as nurses would be a challenge.
How did World War II affect the nursing profession? Here we see a brief history of the events leading up to World War II and the conclusion. According to Duquesne University, World War II saw the service of 59,000 or more American nurses. Only 1,000 nurses were listed on the rolls of the Army Nurse Corps at the time of the attack on Pearl Harbor, but following the attack, the rolls grew to 12,000. Nurses were called to serve even closer to the battlefield than ever before. Thanks to the skill and dedication of these nurses, the U.S. military had an astonishingly low rate of death following injury. Less than 4% of soldiers who were treated in the field following an injury later died.
In terms of medical history, we are at our highest and fastest speed of innovation. We've been able to 3D print body parts, more advanced cancer therapies, gene therapies, the bionic eye, and so much more. With all this rapid advancement, it begs the question, what about male nurses? From 2003 to 2011, the number of male nurses who received a master's went from 1,000 to 4,000. We're beginning to see an increase of males in the workforce again. However, that doesn't mean it's easy. Many males still feel the stereotypes are their biggest obstacles. Some of these obstacles include lack of career-oriented support by significant people in the male nursing student's life, lack of male nurse educators, men's fear of suspect touch when providing care for female patients, men feeling unwelcome in the clinical setting, and sexually biased in obstetrician rotation.
I really wanted to be a nurse, said Doug. But things just weren't going my way. I was frying donuts while waiting to get into school. My prospects didn't look good, and I was about ready to look for another career. His enthusiasm and interest for his patients soon led to a position as a nurse's aide in the PRN pool. He then entered the LPN program at Utah Technical College in Salt Lake, with help from the hospital's tuition reimbursement program. He graduated from the program in March of 1980. Both Doug and his wife work as RNs at the hospital, alternating shifts so that they can care for their 2 children. He is happy about the turn of events in the past 3 years. LDS Hospital got me into nursing, and the IHC program, provided the program, which allowed me to become an RN. I feel I've finally found my niche. I have a lot of people to thank for that.
So I've been a registered nurse for about 6 years now. I went to school at BYU, Idaho, and I've worked on a couple different floors. On med-surg floor, worked in the ICU for a couple years, operating room. I house supervised at Timpanogos Hospital, and right now I'm in nurse practitioner school at BYU. I've always been really, really proud to be going into nursing. I think it's a fantastic profession with a lot of legacy. And I do see more men coming into the field as time goes on, and I think it's really great. I see men bringing really great things to the table. I think every nurse individually has something unique and special to bring to the table, and I'd love to see men becoming more part of it. I think it's fantastic. I really, really do, and I think there's a lot of people doing a lot for the profession. Men tend to occupy a couple of roles, probably more than women, like the CRNAs. Tend to be predominantly men, just for whatever reason. I don't know why that is. It's just kind of interesting. And even nurse practitioners tend to be more women, I've noticed. In my classes right now, I'm one of 2 guys in a nurse practitioner class of 15. And so, but, I don't know. I don't think anyone is better or worse than the other. Men tend to be very assertive and career-oriented because they're providing for families and stuff traditionally, but there's a lot of women doing that too. So I'd be excited to see what happens to the nursing profession in the future.